You're watching Less Than Epic's coverage of the Overwatch League. Enjoy the show.
Hello everyone and welcome to another week of Less Than Epic's Overwatch League coverage. In today's video we are going to be giving you Less Than Epic's list of who stood out the most in their specific roles. We will be bringing you the flex, tank, support, and offensive players of the week. Just to remind you, this is a list of who stood out the most to us and not necessarily had the best statistical week. Up first we have a player who stood out the most in the role of flex player. His name was Fury of the London Spitfire. Fury played as D.Va in all 9 matches for London this week. He didn't have any splashy plays like we've come to expect from Poco's self-destructs with D.Va, but it was his immeasurables that gave Fury the flex spot on our list. There were 3 items that stood out to us from Fury's play this past week specifically that we wanted to point out. He was able to effectively use his boosters to zone the enemy team, creating space for the offensive players on his team, while still being able to retreat back and defend his support players. His damage blocked was also very high, but what it doesn't show you is how well he used his defense matrix to allow Mercy to resurrect teammates in the middle of a battle. The last piece that stood out to us from Fury that sealed his place on this list was his self-sustain. He had one of the better KDRs this week for any tank, and it really stood out. Next up on our list we have the support player of the week. In a league full of Zenyatta players that have been playing off the chain, it was very hard to decide on a support player that really stood out from everyone else. This week we're honoring the support play of Seoul Dynasty's Jae-Hong. He really stood out this week among the field that had a lot of very good Zenyatta players. Every Zenyatta player in Overwatch League has been able to consistently put out high DPS and solid healing. Jae-Hong's play stood out because of his ability to duel almost any offensive hero as Zen and be able to locate and find the kill on priority targets as well as any offensive player. Jae-Hong was also able to showcase a very solid Ana performance and Mercy performance between his 2 matches this past week.
That nano boost right there. Oh, beautiful by Jae-Hong.
Not bad at all.
Commit the nano boost and the self-destruct.
This week, filling the tank player of the week, we had Meko. He really showed up with his D.Va play in a very big way. A large reason why New York is still undefeated. The tank player of the week doesn't normally have a lot of splashy plays, but it is his utility that really makes him the player of the week for his role. This week, Meko showed up on his D.Va and played very well and is a very big reason why New York is still undefeated. Ultimately, Meko was honored with this because of his ability to dive the enemy team, get to the backlines, kill support players, pull out ultimates, and create massive space for his offensive heroes to work with. Without him, New York would not be 4-0.
Huge play from Meko.
This guy is doing it all on his own. First, he takes down Soon on the Bastion on his own. Then, he goes and gets an easy kill on Kareem, then finds Unco. Essentially unassisted, that man on the D.Va made so much happen.
And last but certainly not least, we have Less Than Epic's Offensive Player of the Week. With so much talent spread between 12 teams, this was by far the hardest decision to make for the Less Than Epic crew. In the end, it was Shadowburn from the Philadelphia Fusion that topped our list. Philly lived and died by his play for much of this past week. In their first match this week against the San Francisco Shock, Shadowburn was mostly quiet for the first game, and it wasn't until the end of the second game that you really saw him start to go off. Once Shadowburn starts to roll, he snowballs incredibly fast and is hard to stop. Although the Fusion lost their second game this week, Shadowburn stood out so much because of how well he was able to carry his team to their victory in Game 1. And only narrowly losing their second game after a 5-round affair.
Tate again. Hold. Yeah, just with the dash through and the reflect onto Sleep Beacon. Shadowburn pick up enough to make this worthwhile, not with the Mercy Resurrection.
Yeah, that Valkyrie comes in and
He
just
forced
right
out to
time
10 now. Shadowburn will be really happy with that. He forced them to use the Valkyrie.
That's right, Sleepy changing to the Moira just to get back to the point. Remember, they only need that 1 tick. Desperation as they've nearly got it now from San Francisco. Philly on the verge of taking this one. They had to back off for the D.Va ultimate. Now back on the point again. And it's panic mode.
Dragonblade coming out, kill on Dante already. Oh, he gets Nomi too. 15-player kill streak for Shadowburn, as he is the one.
If you like our coverage of the Overwatch League, let us know by liking and subscribing. And if you didn't, let us know why in the comments below. Maybe we can make it better. Thanks for watching, everyone.